Hey guys. Far away, guys.
Little Marcus Washington update.
Yeah, Marcus tore his ACL. Yeah, it was unfortunately tore his ACL, and we'll have surgery once the swelling goes down.
Obviously, that means something for your young guys. What we saw Malachi on Friday. Is he the guy who steps into that position, or how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, Malachi played on Friday. Jaden Doss played on Friday. Jalen Lloyd played on Friday. I think all three of them have to be ready to go. So all three of them have come a long way. They've gotten better and better and better. They appeared ready to go on Friday night, and I think this is a great week for them to. We went out and practice today, so those guys need to step up, and I'm sure they will.
So he had an arm injury. He was able to keep working out. The fact it was an arm injury that helped him, actually.
Yeah, I think the fact there wasn't anything with his lower body. I mean, our guys do a great job of keeping guys in shape. He broke his arm, so he just had to wait for it to heal. And once it healed, he's been integrated back in. So he was out, back in for a week, and then a little something. I think maybe I can't remember Michigan week if he was up or not. Forgive me, but then he was up obviously last week, and actually called a reverse for him in the game. Sat did, and they checked out of it because they were blitzing the corner. But Jaden's a really good player. Jalen's a really good player. Malachi's a really good player. Ty Hahn stepped up. Bullock, I thought, made the plays we all know Bullock's capable of making. So we'll need those guys to go.
Marcus done then? This is his 6th year. There's no way back for him to keep playing.
Yeah, I don't know that. We were talking about it today. I was teasing. He was wanting to explore those things. I laughed at him like everybody. They all say they want to leave till they want to leave. But I love Marcus. You talk about a guy who's, in my opinion, has come a long way, and really happy for him that his second to last play was that deep ball was a heck of a play. Really, to me, it meant a lot about what we're trying to get done here. That you're on the goal line and Riley Van Poppel as a freshman makes the big hit, and then you come back out and Marcus Washington as a senior makes the big catch. It's just team, and I hate it for Marcus because he's so competitive. And he's just had a tough go. This camp. First it was the other knee injury, and then now this. His hand was broke because I think he was poised to have a really good year. I've never been a part of this, to be honest with you. This many offensive injuries and defections. You come out of last spring. Obviously, you're thinking Eric's going to be a big part of things. Unfortunately, Eric's gone through what he's gone through. Right, Xavier leaves the team. Isaiah gets hurt. Marcus gets hurt. I'm probably forgetting somebody. So I've never been a part of. Ramir gets hurt, Gabe gets hurt. So I think the offensive staff's doing a great job of coaching. It limits you a little bit into some of the things that you maybe want to do. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for guys to go play. And those young guys, since the day I got here, I told you, hey, they're going to be really good. They just got to be really good now.
Because of the extreme nature of what you just went through, can you keep that identity that you've identified where you want to hammer at people?
Yeah, well, yeah. We did a bye week, kind of plan to win with the guys, like all the things we need to improve upon. The one thing we're doing well is, we're first in the Big Ten in rushing offense. We're first in 10+ yards rushing. I think we're third in yards per carry at 5.1. We're second in rush defense, maybe first or second in defensive yards per carry, and first in 10+ runs. So we're defending the run well. Third down, we need to get about 7% better on offense and 7% better on defense. I think we're middle of the pack on, I can't remember the numbers, but we're 40% on defense. Okay, we need to be in the low 30s, and we're 37% on offense. We need to be in the mid 40s. So there's a lot of things that are just close. The one thing that's giving us a chance is running the football. We're minus through 6 games. We're -7 in the turnover battle. We're 129th out of 133 teams. And that's, that could have been a 30-7 game, 35-7, 40-7 game. So there's a lot of things, but our identity of running the football, and taking away and stopping the run, that can't change. That's just a bedrock of who we want to be. It didn't work we couldn't get it done against Michigan. They're beyond that. We were beyond that on that day. But as we move forward, we have to continue to do that. These young receivers, I think we started making some plays in the passing game this past game that allowed us to score some touchdowns by tying some third down conversions. We just have to continue to augment that as we move forward.
You mentioned the turnovers, and they all came late on Friday. Is there a different kind of opportunity to learn from those when they happen in a win than there is versus like the Minnesota game where you had some of the same late turnovers in a loss?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hadn't really thought about that. What I did tell the team was, at some point, it's going to have to stop. It's been 8 years of it here. Going back to the 9-4 year was the last year that we had a plus turnover margin. So it's all these different voices saying it. And it's not, and we're talking about just the offense right now, but like the defense is only taking the ball away 6 times. They're like 11th in the Big Ten. So it's not like we're like doing, everyone kind of looks at the offense like, come on, guys, well, we're supposed to be taking the ball away on defense. That game was trending in that direction, right? Like Quentin had the pick. Take away Heinrich's pick. I mean, to me, Heinrich's pick was like, hey, it was like, we're going to take a shot down the sideline. If it's intercepted, it's a punt. Like, I mean, we don't want it to be intercepted. The fumbles in the red zone are ridiculous, right, inside a 4-minute. So, I challenged the team like, hey, we literally the day before walked through 4-minute offense. We spoke it into existence that we're going to have the lead. And quarterback, what are you going to do? I follow the ball. Offensive line, what do you do? We finish. Defense, running back, what do you do? I run to contact and get down. Like, it's coached, and it happened the day before. And then, as we said to the team, hey guys, who brought that up in the huddle when it was happening? And everyone said no. Like even Heinrich said, I didn't even think about we were in 4-minute offense, which it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds, but it's so. Those are teaching opportunities to me. Is it a little easier when you win? Probably. But it's still the same problems are still there that were there at Minnesota. The same issues are still there. So we've got to continue to clean them up. My point, though, is there are the same issues on special teams. They're the same issues on offense and on defense. Everybody has their issues. So as a team this week, we have to clean up some things so we can be better against Northwestern.
I know you're just beginning of the Big Ten journey, but you played 3 of the games, and you've also, I'm sure, scouted teams on film. Do you find that the identity that you come up with is pretty durable for this league and fits this league well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who's winning in college football that's not, running the football and playing good defense? I mean, we have to be more explosive on offense, right? You're not going to be able to win long term if you can't make explosive plays in the passing game. We're one of the top teams in terms of explosive run plays, but we're going to need some explosive pass plays. And on the flip side, on defense, we've given up way too many explosive 20-yard passes. So that component will continue to come. That's part of that is people getting comfortable. Part of that is playmakers. Playmakers as they develop, as you recruit them. There's a lot of teams on Saturday that catch a slant and take it 80. We have the guys who can do that. We just have to continue to get them confident. And I see our team becoming a more confident team day by day. So, I think playing defense, running the football. That was a really people don't know that was a really windy day. It was just what Coach Osborne's out at practice today. That's just what Coach Osborne told me. There'd be some really windy days where like having good special teams and having good defense and the ability to run the football is going to be really, really, really important.
How important is Anthony Grant now? Even more so. He's always important, obviously. And did he come out of Illinois okay?
Well, he's not okay with me because he keeps fumbling the ball. I love Anthony, but you can't play for us if you can't control the ball. So Anthony, he's got to improve that. Not in the doghouse. People take things the wrong way. He's got a skill that is not showing up. It's very simple. To me, it's all technical. Football's never emotional for me. It's just technical. So I have to get that fixed for Anthony. And Anthony has to get that fixed for Anthony or he can't play because we can't, you can't fumble the ball in practice on Tuesday, then fumble it again in practice on Wednesday, then fumble it in 4 minutes on Saturday and think you're going to play the next week. So I think the bye week comes at a great time because Anthony can really work on that this week. He's got such great vision. He has all these things, but he has one skill that's preventing him from playing at the level I think he could play at. So, he's healthy, all those things, but I'm counting on Anthony, and I need him, and we need him to step up, and we need him to very simply cover the top of the ball and not run with the ball like this. And so I don't know what else to do other than to say what I just said. I've said it to him, obviously, but say what I just said so he hears it because he's a really good player that could probably play for many years after this. But you're not playing for Bill Belichick if you fumble the ball. You're not playing for Mike Tomlin if you fumble the ball. So we need him this week to really make a step.
What do you think's at the root of that issue? It seems like, I don't know if he's running more physically than he has in previous years, but
he did the same thing in Illinois last year. It was a close game. The ball was ripped out. And to me, it's all technical. It's about covering the tip of the ball and keeping the ball high and tight. If you watch Heinrich run with the football, Coach Osborne came in yesterday. And we watched some film with us, and he was just talking about how beautifully Heinrich carries the football. He carries exactly like we ask him to do. You watch Tommy Hill, he had that fumble again on the kickoff return, and Tommy Hill picks the ball off the other night, and there's a picture of him, with going 5 points of ball security. It's a commitment to that. And so Anthony's been running with the ball one way his whole life, not protecting the front tip of the ball. And again, the ball getting out here. It's Division I football. You're not going to have a lot of runs where you start right and work back left. It just doesn't happen, especially in 4 minutes. So we've just got to continue to coach him. And we love him. We got to coach him. He's come so far in so many ways. His pass protection, his route running, catching the ball, things that we thought maybe he couldn't do, he can absolutely do. This is something that has to get corrected. At the same time, Josh Fleeks is ready to play. Emmett put the ball on the ground, which was just disappointing on the exchange. So there's obviously a cultural, and that's why I speak things in here sometimes when I want the locker room to hear it. Like, you can't blame all the coaches. Like, blame me, that's fine. But like, at some point, the players have to start saying it, and our players get that. That was what was great yesterday. I talked to our team and said, they wanted to play with a swagger, they wanted to play with energy, they wanted to be, coach, take the leash off us. I'm a little more old school. I said, okay, take the leash off you. Can't have 11 penalties though. Can't have the ball inside the 5 twice. And so I said, hey guys, how do we make this where we can play with a certain energy where we don't have these penalties? And Newsom said, well, we have to do it. And I was like, exactly. That's how you change what's happening. So I think it's the same thing with him technically, but at the same time, he needs to hear from his teammates like, hey, bro, we need you to hold it this way every single time. So, I'm not going to do the old carry it around the class thing. It's not the program. We're not doing that. We're just going to trust him as a really good player that he can get it corrected.
What's the conversation you had with him about swagger? And was that related to the
team?
Michigan game? Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, I just think when you first play for me, you struggle with me always talking about process, and me talking about always doing things right, and me talking about when you make a play, celebrate with your teammates, not with the crowd. And it's kind of a day and age where everyone wants to go like, hey, look at me, hey, look at me. And so I said, okay, if you practice the way you practiced last week, go do that stuff. But the football better be right. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've now got some guys who get me. And who I get. Like, I got Tommy Hill, who, I've got Jamari Butler, I've got Ty Robinson, I've got some guys who understand that I'm prodding and pushing just to keep, getting them to be better and better and better. So they get it. So we're out there practicing. The offense has a couple good runs, and I got Tommy over there screaming, I want you guys to throw it at me. So we're developing a swagger that's earned, not hubris. And, again, I thought the Michigan. I don't think we came out at Michigan flat. I think we came out at Michigan expecting to play well, and when all of a sudden we were down 14-0, we didn't respond, and that's not a good sign for a team. So I look forward to the next time we're down 14-0, Sam, and see hey, how do we respond? Because that'll show you if we made any progress or not.
What's your approach for the bye week practices? I mean, you guys do a lot of contact, and then for recruiting, what's the schedule for the coaches as you guys look?
Yeah, we have one guy out the whole week, and then we have a bunch of guys that are going out Thursday and Friday. I'll be out Thursday and Friday. So we'll hit a lot of guys Thursday and Friday evaluation period wise. See some guys play on Friday, and then we came out today and just played football. I thought it was really important that we got ourselves back in the groove of competition. Tomorrow we'll continue to work on some things. We're doing a ton of self-scout, a ton of improvement work, a ton of looking at some areas that we think we need to improve upon. Some third down stuff, some red zone stuff. We'll implement some of that. Thursday will be a lot of Northwestern stuff. To get a jump on them. They have a bye week too, so they know who we are, we know who they are. So, but to me right now, the goal is for us to go 1-0 this week, just in terms of improving ourselves and getting the young guys some good work.
What do you think you've learned about your team 6 weeks into the year, and what do you think about the potential that they have for the second half of the schedule?
Yeah, I think we should for the second half of the season. I mean, we should try to win every game. Knowing that we'll have a chance. We'll probably have a chance in every game, and also there's not a team that can't beat us. There's not a team we can't beat. There's not a team that can't beat us, and so we probably just should prepare at a high level. I hope the one thing they learned from last week was that what seemed like really hard, like, man, we're in full pads on the Sunday, the day after we played Michigan, probably will end up being one of their better memories from the year, and probably led to one of their best weeks of football. And I think gave them the right to have that swagger that Sam asked about, right? Like, as I told them, if you practice that way, then you earn the right to play that way. So I think they understand that they have to prepare, they have to have edge, they have to play in a certain way, and they have to play as a team. You got Blaze Gunnerson started a bunch of games. He gets a little bit banged up. Someone goes ahead. Jamari goes ahead of him. Blaze doesn't start. Does he complain? No, he goes out. He plays really good on defense. He blocks a punt. there's a lot of guys on the team I thought stepped up in multiple areas, not just on offense and defense.
And speaking of backups, how nice was it that when Jeff went down, Heinrich came in, and it wasn't a question of waiting for Jeff to come back, but that Heinrich did enough things in these games to win for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think Heinrich's prepared at a high level to get himself ready to play. I think that room has that culture. I'll be honest with you. If Chubba not gotten hurt that day, I'm not so sure Chubba wouldn't have gone out there first. And I think Chubba would have done the same thing. And that's not a knock on Heinrich. I just think that room is, Jeff's out there. He's back healthy now. Jeff's out there. He's competing like crazy. We have 3 quarterbacks that I believe we can win with. And I only say that because I said that. I think Steve asked me that before the first game. I said I think we have 3 quarterbacks we can win with. Each has their own strengths, and you have to kind of tailor what we're doing to each guy. But, I think Heinrich was ready for his moment. He's capitalized on it. He has a long way to go. He's leaving a lot of things out there. He's learning how to, the wear and tear of running him as many times as we're doing, that can have an effect on you. And he's gaining that. He's gaining that knowledge of, hey, here's how I can best take care of myself and prepare each week. And then I think Marcus is doing a good job of finding the throws that he feels comfortable with, right? Basically, most teams now they're rushing 3 and they're playing man and they're dropping guys off and they're trying to make sure he doesn't leave the pocket and trying to not chip balls down because of his release. And so our defense is starting trying to knock the ball down. So he's having to work through that. But takes great ownership. I have a lot of respect for Heinrich. He had a ball batted down today and he was like, "That's on me." Like he gets angry at himself. So I think he'll turn himself into a really good player.
This whole drop 8 thing's becoming more popular, right? Like, teams are just doing it more. Why is that, do you think? And how has it been effective, and what's challenging about it?
Yeah, I think when you look back at like Iowa State and the big John Heacock and the Big 12, they kind of first started it, and I think a lot of teams just recognize. I mean, if you're in the NFL and you're a rookie quarterback, and you're playing against Bill Belichick, he's probably going to drop 8 the whole game on you and make you throw into windows, and you can double guys. And you're taking away the underneath throws, and there's you can have 3 guys deep. So, we do it a good bit. Other teams do it a good bit. You have to have a really an accomplished receiver or accomplished passing game to find holes in it. We did it against Tom Brady, and eventually he'd find a way, obviously, to get you. But a lot of times, he would check the ball down before he finally figured out where he wanted to go with it. So it just takes a lot of precision in the passing game. And if you have some guys who can rush with a 3-man rush, then you're cooking with gas.
We're talking about the significance of having Van Poppel in that goal line situation and then having him at the point of contact on that massive play.
Yeah, Riley's someone I kind of pushed Terrence to play more. I'd like to see him play more. I think he will play more the second half of the season. When I watched the Michigan game, he was a guy to me that didn't look like the moment was too big, or when guys blocked him. And I think I said that maybe even last week. I thought he played with great extension and length. He's tough. He's physical. I think he's going to be a really, really excellent player for us. So, last game we didn't, because we had so many 3 and outs after that first drive, didn't rotate maybe quite as much as I would have liked. But he's in that jumbo package, and I think Tony's done a good job. While Tony is a card-carrying member of the 3-3-5, and they don't deviate. He is putting some big people out there, and we are playing some 3-4, and we do have Chief and Jamari or Chief. We do have some true big people when people go big against us, and that gets Riley another opportunity to get into the game and be a big body inside. So, as we come down the stretch, there's going to be some teams I know they're going to be physical and run the ball as it gets a little colder and windier. We're going to need those guys. We're going to need those bodies. We're going to need those bigger defensive sets. And Riley's done a great job. And he's learning from Ty Robinson. I think Ty's doing a great job of leading that room. And as Ty transitions off to the NFL, I think Riley will be one of those guys who steps right in and continues the standard.
Turner and Charles, are they on defense now? Did you move them over? Or?
Yeah, Jeremiah was playing a little bit of both, and now he's playing at corner. And Bryce, is playing some at corner as well. So they're over there, and they're kind of in the mix. They're going to hopefully help us on special teams at some point. Ethan Nation got into the game on special teams last game, so we're trying to bring those guys along.
Hey, man, one more about the quarterbacks. Obviously, you have this week to compete. How important is it for the guys knowing that every day is a competition? It's got to, when you juxtapose it with the situation when a clear starter. Is this a good thing, healthy thing for these guys to compete against each other every week?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the best players are constantly at competition with themselves and their own standards. So, obviously Heinrich started the last several games. If he played today, he'd be out there starting. But he knows he has two really good quarterbacks in the room with him in Jeff and Chubba. And so, you can't kind of blow a day off, right? You can't show up one day and not be locked in. You can't, you can't miss the team bus. You can't do whatever. You've got to stay locked in and healthy. I don't really worry about that with those guys, but a lot of times parents have said to me over the years, well, if you would just make him the starter, I would tell you, you'd see how confident he'd be. And I'm trying to get I'm not worried about where these guys. I'm trying to get all these guys ready for their next phase in life, right? The NFL or the real world. And you walk around every day at the next level waiting to get cut. So you better learn how to handle pressure. And true confidence comes from within. Confidence doesn't come from your parents telling you that you're a good player or your coach telling you. In fact, it actually does the opposite if you look at the research. So, a program where guys have to earn it, a program where guys know that, if I work hard, eventually I'm going to get a chance. I think that's exactly what we need.
All good.
Thanks, everybody.